Today's episode is brought to you by Juice.
Yeah.
Clink. Hello and welcome to another episode of Game and Watch It.
Hi. Hello.
As you can see, we're in a different location.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're at Rusty's place this time.
Yeah, Rusty's place, but same cast.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Fortunately.
We suck.
we need to get a new guest on our show.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at least we had Dario and Dan on the 0.5 last week.
Yeah.
That was actually a pretty good discussion. If you guys haven't seen it, go check it out. It was all Destiny 2. Really, really good discussion.
Yeah, I started listening to it, and then you lost me right at Destiny. But yeah, if you want to be on the show, leave a comment, and you might be featured in the next episode.
Yeah.
It's like a big deal.
It's a big deal.
Yeah, huge
Pretty
deal.
big deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's kind of been a bit of a slower 2 weeks. We had Paris Games Week.
Yeah, it wasn't that slow, though. I mean, Paris Games Week dropped a lot. But, I mean...
Did it?
Well, yeah. We'll get to that later, though. But, I mean, what have you guys been playing?
Yeah.
Well, Odyssey. Everyone's playing Odyssey.
Yes, Odyssey.
Got my 500. I keep wanting to call them shines. Like I have a hard time. Like I have a mental block to calling them moons, or power moons, or what have you. I got the 500 of them. Unlocked the darker side. Played the darker side.
Yeah.
Said fuck you to the darker side, and then started playing Doom. And that's where I'm at now.
Yeah, the darker side's rough.
It's long. It's like 15 minutes.
Well, every Mario game has a
Challenge level.
big challenge
Yeah.
level. You played the Champions Road in 3D Land or 3D World.
Yeah, I don't think I finished that either.
You didn't finish that?
No.
Oh, that was like hours and hours of grinding. Mm-hmm. That was good. I love those challenges. They're pure platforming,
Yeah.
which I find Odyssey isn't really. Out of all the Mario games, it has the least amount of platforming in it.
Yeah, there isn't some truly heavy platforming unless you get to some of the challenge stages.
Yeah,
Once you have that, you're
they took a
essentially
cue
killed.
from Sunshine.
Yeah.
When you leave your flood behind.
Yeah.
So you leave your hat on the little scarecrow.
some of the challenges that you don't have your hat, but some of them you do.
Yeah, with like the scarecrow challenges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the scarecrow challenges. It's pure platforming. Have you guys mastered the you jump, throw your hat out, belly dive onto your hat, jump off your hat, belly dive, and then you get one more hat throw, and then I think one more dive.
Yeah, no, I'm not nearly at that level. Like
Nope.
It doesn't take long. It takes about 10 minutes.
That's
to
it.
just get the hang of
master
it.
Just like a learning curve.
Oh, no, I haven't tried it yet. I've been doing like my own thing. Like I started learning a few different things in New Donk City.
Oh, what a great city.
Yeah, so because of like the buildings and everything, it kind of reminded me almost of like Infamous in a sense. Where like you're like platforming, but also like traversing a city, climbing buildings, doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I found a way to like change my trajectory after I wall jump by throwing my hat
Yeah.
and then jumping back the opposite way with a dive. So I've been hitting like a lot of platforms that way where normally you would need like one of those spring things or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it makes it a lot quicker.
Yeah, I'm actually excited to replay the whole game, knowing that like mastering these skills.
Yeah.
Because you could like skip so much stuff. The game is designed
To be like broken.
to be
Yeah.
broken, and they reward you if you get to places where you shouldn't with
Yeah.
like a stack of coins.
Yeah, the hidden coin stashes that they put like at the top of random towers, knowing that people are going to figure out how to get up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's been fun. I put a lot of hours into Odyssey recently. I was in California again, in Anaheim.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, for work training. So 8 to 4 random training classes and whatnot, and then after that I'd just head to my room and I wouldn't even give a shit about anything else. I'd just plug in my Switch, plug it right into the TV in the hotel room, sit on the bed and just play for hours.
Nice. Did you go to Universal?
No. So it was set in Disney. Oddly
Okay,
enough,
nice.
Disney has a customer service training institute.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so the company I work for has been using them. So I mean, hell, why not, right?
Yeah. Even in Disney World, they have that too.
Yeah,
Like a business conference.
Last year
place.
when we did it, it was in Orlando. So
Nice.
yeah, it's been a nice back and forth.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, I didn't get to get outside of the resort much, but it was still good. I had
Yeah.
fun. But
Excellent.
yeah, I'm sitting at like 360 some odd moons now.
Oh, that's nothing. So you haven't
Yeah.
even got to the Grandmaster challenge.
Which Grandmaster?
The
challenge?
darker side. The darker side.
Oh,
of
I haven't gotten to the darker
Okay.
side. I've gotten to the dark side.
Yeah. Yeah, I played that game wishing my expectations were so high for that game, and I feel a little let down. But once I throw my expectations out the window, it's such a great game. I was expecting Luigi and a big Donkey. Donkey Kong was in the game.
Is he?
Yeah, he's like the 8-bit sprite.
Oh yeah, the 8-bit Donkey Kong. Yeah.
That was kind of cool.
A little piece of New Donk City.
But but I remember in the old promos or in the promos that were leaked and stuff, they showed the world map and they had a mushroom island, which is the Mushroom Kingdom, and then there's also a little dolphin-shaped island that I don't know if they scrapped it or if it's going to be DLC.
Huh.
I'm sure there's going to be DLC.
Oh, I hope so.
I have a feeling it's going to be something like Delfino oriented.
Yeah.
It would have to.
I would love to go back to that plaza.
Cool. Anyways, have you guys been playing anything else outside of Odyssey?
Doom.
Yeah, we got Doom last night.
Doom.
Nice.
Doom.
I still have to play it, but I will say this. I watched Digital Foundry's analysis of the Switch version compared to everything else.
Yeah, this is a big topic.
Yeah, so they weren't like completely negative. They had a bunch of negative things to say, but overall, with the conclusion, they said like for them to be able to do whatever they've done on the system is miraculous in and of itself. They're a little worried with what's going to happen with Wolfenstein 2 because it's a much more graphically powerful game. So it's going to need a little more juice out of it.
Yeah.
The big things were, certain things were running in 480, 360 even for the resolution.
Yeah, but the resolution is dynamic.
Yeah.
So I guess if you're further off into the distance, the backgrounds will be
lower resolution. It's the variable resolution, and they also hit that there is frame variance, I think is what they called it, or something like that. And essentially what it is that although it's running in 30 frames per second, it's not locked to 30 frames per second. So sometimes you will get closer to 60 frames per second. Sometimes you'll get somewhere closer to like 15, 16, 20. So it doesn't quite hit the consistency. And they said that should be just a patch. If they can release a patch for that, it should fix it.
Fix what? The frame rate dips?
Yeah, to make it a little more consistent. So they'll actually lock it at 30 frames per second all the time. It'll make it a bit more
that would be tough to do. I think that's like...
It depends.
How that offset when the frame rate dips as opposed to when the frame rate's higher?
Yeah, it's because it's variable in a sense, right? So it's kind of just doing whatever it needs to do for that time. So you can get like amazing frame rates out of it, or you could get really bad frame rates. But they're saying that while doing this, it should equalize it so that you won't see some of those frame dips later on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think all like that aside, this is a great looking Switch game.
Oh yeah.
For the hardware, like when you compare it to Breath of the Wild or Odyssey, like it holds up just as like it looks just as good.
Yeah, it is a little blurry compared to the other versions, but beyond that, it's lower hardware. So like, what are you gonna do?
But even in Breath of the Wild, sometimes the game looks magnificent, and then sometimes it's like, oh, this game looks like it's like an N64 game. Like especially like the Lost Woods when you're in there and there's all those like blurry textures. Like, what am I looking at?
But you know what? For the most part, and I know it's going to sound crazy, but I think Breath of the Wild looks better on the Switch than Doom looks.
Oh, for sure.
Oh yeah.
There's no question. So, like, it's just, again, the game was made not for the Switch, so I'm sure they had to make some cutbacks. Not to mention that, although Bethesda made the game, they didn't port it.
Panic Button.
That's it. Panic Button did the port. So, I think they actually did a lot of good for themselves and their reputation.
Yeah, they're going to make a name for themselves, and they will, obviously, they're going to be porting Wolfenstein.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, it's clear when you're playing the game that they made some graphical concessions, like that there's no argument against that now. But in terms of what I've played, granted I haven't gotten terribly far in it, it's completely playable, and unless you're stopping and like poking around corners, like which you might end up doing if you're really exploring though, but the textures and so on, they never really detract from the gameplay. It's more just sort of the aesthetic side of things.
Yeah, and that's the big piece, right? Like they mentioned a couple of like stupid little nitpicky aesthetic things that had changed, like certain reflections that were in the existing game weren't there.
Yeah.
But when it came down to true gameplay, enemies on the screen, draw distance, it was pretty much all there. So they really focused on the heavy stuff, the true gameplay aspects, and then left everything else to the side, saying like, okay, maybe we can sacrifice this instead, but we need the gameplay to be good.
Yeah, I think our listeners and viewers need to know that this game it's a fully featured game. It has the same enemies, the same amount of enemies, same amount of like the maps aren't smaller. Like it's a fully functioning Doom game.
It's not even the maps; it's the level sizes, and that's one thing Digital Foundry mentioned was that they were surprised that they didn't cut down the level sizes to half of their size. So essentially, split a mission in half to make it easier on the memory of the system. They didn't do that. They found a way to actually properly port this game.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of excited that they've done this. I mean, I'm still going to play it on PS4. I kind of already own it on PS4.
Yeah,
so
Which is fair.
You know,
but there's
still.
also the portability aspect of it. You
course.
can't play it on the go.
Yep.
Which is one of the great highlights for the Doom Switch port.
I completely agree. But I mean, how do you guys feel about the game in general? Outside of the comparisons, just the game.
Yeah, I'm getting used to the speed of it. Like I am. Like I haven't. It's been a while since I've been really dipping my feet into FPSs. Like since Halo 4, there really hasn't been. I can't think off the top of my head like an FPS that I've really played. And Halo is decidedly slower, I would say, than Doom. And Doom is extremely fast paced and just sort of catching up to the breakneck speed of it. But for me, it was just a very nice change of pace from like the collectathons that I've been playing for the majority of the year. Especially after Odyssey. Because not to segue too far, but I found like Odyssey, I found it harder to just binge that game in the same way that I could with Breath of the Wild. Like Breath of the Wild, I sunk over 120 hours into that game, and at no point did I feel really bored with it. While Odyssey, by the time I got to about 500, or I got to the 500, I was going to say shines again, 500 moons
And stars.
and stars, which are really moons somehow. By that point, I was kind of bored with it. Like I needed something different, but it's a fun, frantic, like change of pace. Though that speed, and I don't know if maybe like some degree is it because it's not 60 frames per second because it's 30 frames per second. When I'm trying to fight the faster enemies, I have a hard time catching them. Or like I find myself often missing them. Well, first and foremost is one of my gripes with the game is the sensitivity I found way too high in terms of the default settings.
Okay.
Like one of the first things I did is took the sensitivity down to like 15, where it was in like I think like either 40, 50, or 60 initially.
Oh,
Me too.
Okay, fair enough.
It's very, very twitchy.
Okay, I see where you're coming from. That does kind of make sense considering the style of game, but I know where you're coming from.
Yeah.
It makes sense. Now, I want to see what this is going to do for me personally because I've been playing a lot of Destiny 2. As I guess you guys and our viewers know, it's been all I've been playing outside of Odyssey.
Yeah.
And it might arguably be one of the best shooters to come out in existence right now. Like, it is crazy good what they've done. I mean, the story, settings, character development, gameplay in general, they've nailed it this time.
Well, it's nice to see that Bungie stepped up their game for this one.
Yeah. And again, the gameplay has always been like a huge strong suit for them. So I want to see going from that to going back to something that was made, 2 years ago, right? Or a year ago or whatever it was. I want to see how it's going to compare and how it's aged over those 2 years compared to what's coming out now in that genre.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'll get back to you guys on that. But yeah, it's something that's been in the back of my mind.
Yeah, back to the Doom gameplay.
Yeah.
The controls are great, but oh my god, I miss Splatoon aiming controls.
Yes, if there was gyro aiming, that would be so huge.
Just that, like, you use the right trigger, the right stick to aim, but just that tiny bit of precision just to lock on the enemy.
I got you.
Oh, I miss it so much. And I found myself using my Pro Controller. I'm like, why isn't this aiming working?
No, do you think maybe the game is a little too fast for the gyro to really be viable in most cases?
No, I would say that would make the gyro that much more imperative. The fact that you can make those subtle changes.
Yeah,
like,
you've never played Splatoon.
No, I have.
Okay.
Yeah.
With the Pro Controller and with the
Yeah. No, I've used, I mean, even let's say in Zelda, for the gyro aiming. Like, it always has been something that I've used for fine tuning. I'll use the thumbstick to get to the general area and then move it so that I can lock onto somebody.
just that tiny little accuracy.
Yeah, like I said, like if anything, that would make it even that much more helpful because of the high speed of the game. That it really, like those just couple millimeters difference.
Yeah.
When you have, let's say, like you're trying to track a fast enemy and you're moving in opposite directions, like that would be huge.
Now they did put waggle motion into it.
Yes.
For your melee.
Waggle physics, but you could just click the right thumbstick anyways.
Yeah,
so.
exactly.
Oh, it's a thumbstick.
Yeah.
Yeah, you click it and you do a little.
So R3 essentially. Like it's to click in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, you could do that, or you can waggle in order to do the melee attacks.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So I'm still playing Animal Crossing Pocket Camp.
And?
I'm at like level 37. So every level you get a new villager.
Okay,
And I think there's
nice.
40 villagers.
Oh, so you're almost there.
Oh, wow.
So I'm almost there to get them all, but then you have to like level them up. I think level 20 is when you get the picture frame from a villager, and that's in every Animal Crossing game. Once you befriend an animal to the max, you get a little picture frame that you can put in your house or in the camp.
Of that animal?
Of that animal, yeah.
So they give you a picture of themselves?
Yeah, they're so bad.
That's creepy.
It's kind of vain.
Yeah, but it's funny because
That's a very creepy thing to do.
the characters are so entertaining. They're like cute little bunnies, but they're cute on the outside, but they'll gossip behind your back.
Yeah.
So they'll talk to you, and then they'll give you a little evil stare on the side.
It's awesome.
But yeah, it's fun. Yeah, so I powered up most of my villagers to about level 10. So I'm about halfway there.
Yeah.
And then obviously level 10 to 20 is going to be just a grind to get them to level 20.
Yeah, makes sense.
But I got all my amenities up and
You're what?
amenities.
Oh, okay.
Your manatees?
Your manatees?
Yeah.
Your
It's like
amenities?
I'm working to get like a carousel and a pool party eventually. Ideally, my goal I want to make my camp like a little restaurant. So I want to get like matching
Nice.
tables and matching chairs and just keep crafting. But yeah, I'm loving it still.
Cool. Yeah, the only other game I've really been playing right now is, again, Pokemon Silver. And I'm
Mario?
starting to get... what? Yeah, I'm starting to get a little frustrated with the old gameplay aspect of it. You know what I mean?
Of what?
Of Pokemon Silver.
Oh,
Like,
you're still playing that?
I am. Well, I mean, it's 2 regions. I'm just getting to Kanto now. I had a lot of other games to play, so I just got back to it this week.
Ah.
And again, it's just there's something. I mean, it's a stupid little gripe because the game is so old. But like, I'm starting to think I might just drop this and just re-put in Soul Silver. Because I'm going to have a lot more fun with that game, and it was pretty much the same thing.
Don't you have enough games on your plate right now to like keep
No, I love
replaying these Pokemon
I don't
games?
care. I love Pokemon. I am a Pokemon master. That's just the way it is. I love that game to death. It's always going to be a part of me, so why
Yeah.
not? Right?
I think I'll replay that game on the Game Boy Classic Edition when it comes out next year.
Oh, okay, cool.
Prediction.
Prediction. Do you think Pokemon is going to come on the Switch for next year, or do you think it's going to be pushed into 2019?
No,
Or-
I think it's going to be next
Sorry,
year.
early 2019.
No, I mean, look, if they're being as smart as they have been over the past little while, they've already announced the game. They already said it's coming.
No, he
They're
said-
releasing Ultra Sun and Moon.
They haven't really announced the game. They just kind of announced that they're making a game. Like, it doesn't have a name or anything.
No,
Yeah, but it was a true title.
It was the next addition into the Pokemon RPG series.
Yeah, which
And
is the main games. Essentially.
Which I think that was a rough translation, but
Yeah.
they came out and said, no, this is we're not making any more games for 3DS.
Yeah.
This will be the next Pokemon game.
I think it's going to be holiday 2018, or at least I hope, because
I
at
hope
this
so too,
point,
It won't be any earlier than that.
I think they're already working on it. I mean, they have to. So whatever team they got to do Ultra Sun and Moon probably just did the little upgrades they needed to, but the
Yeah.
engine and game world were already pretty much there. So it was a little easier, get the main team back on the Switch, start creating that game. I think if they're going to be smart about this, release it this year, because I don't think Metroid is coming until 2019. They
Yeah.
need something for next year.
If they release Pokemon's going to be released on the Switch, but the Switch is going to kill it. It's already killing it
Yeah.
right now. Like I have a feeling they won't be able to keep up with demand. We're going to have the same situation as next year with the Switch.
Yeah.
Which is good.
No, hey, look, we're going to see Kirby next year. We're going to see Pokemon next year.
Yeah,
I have a feeling we're going to get a Donkey Kong next year.
Kirby and Yoshi are like filler games, I find.
Yeah,
It's
almost like in comparison.
Yeah, but I always have a soft spot for Kirby, so like that's still going to be a main title for me.
I know, but you have Mario and you have Zelda. These games have been reimagined and
Yeah.
like fully like big budget, and then like I'd like to see them do that with Kirby and Yoshi and all these smaller titles. Give them
Gotcha.
a reboot and a fresh take on the series.
Yeah.
Here's a fun idea. What kind of Joy-Cons do you think we're going to be seeing for any of these launches? Because I could see them doing like a special edition Pokemon launch with like a red controller and a white controller.
Yeah, I was going to say that would be awesome.
Red and blue.
No, red and white, like a Pokeball.
Like
Yeah.
a Pokeball.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next holiday, we'll probably start seeing different models.
You know what I want? And I know a lot of people have actually been doing the conversions. They've been getting aftermarket buttons, but they've been taking apart the Joy-Con, spray painting it the like light gray from the Famicom, and putting in the colored buttons on both sides.
Well, these buttons are the exact same buttons as the 3DS buttons. So people,
So that's what they're doing now.
people have been taking them and just destroying their 3DS or just flipping the flipping the buttons on their system.
Oh, you know what? Maybe that's not a bad idea at all.
Look how
By
nice.
the way, for all of our listeners who aren't watching on YouTube right now,
sorry.
Rusty has showed off the 3DS and Switch that we have on our table
The
right
new
now.
3DS.
Yeah, sorry, the new 3DS standard size with the Famicom buttons.
Well, the XL also has. There's too many 3DS models.
God damn it, honestly. Anyways, it's something that I saw. They did it for both sides though, and the other ones did have the arrows on it. So maybe those ones are the aftermarket ones.
Yeah, probably.
But
Anyways.
it's awesome. I'm already starting to think that if I can pull it off, maybe buy an extra set of Joy-Cons and do some experimentation with it.
I wouldn't touch the finish of the Joy-Cons because Nintendo's perfected it, and all those like third-party ones, they probably feel weird.
Yeah,
You know what I
can
mean?
see that. Yeah,
I would never
Especially
want
once you put like spray paint on them afterwards.
Yeah.
It probably gets like you could feel the resistance as like you put your fingers across it probably.
Yeah, but
But,
I wouldn't mind the buttons.
What I would also really like to see is a Pro controller that doesn't have black handles. Like why are they so stuck on those black handles on the Pro controllers?
The handles are like the only thing they change the color for.
Or sorry,
It's
no,
the
I have it
center,
backwards.
yeah.
Like the black center.
Yeah,
the black center,
I don't get it. I want to see a fully colored one. Mind you, also to be fair, I did kind of get the Xenoblade 2 one. So that's
so
gonna be coming
ugly.
soon. No, I like it.
It's so ugly.
I like it so
disagree.
much.
Yeah. But they do like even for the Splatoon edition, they do put splats on the black part and the middle part.
Yeah, and there's like lines on the Xenoblade one, so they're capable of coloring it.
Yeah, so they're not reusing the that main faceplate from the
No,
old
it's
ones.
just the fact that they're all black though. You know what I mean? Like just get some color in there.
Yeah.
If you're gonna make an all blue one or an all red one or whatever it is, just do it.
I'd like to see an atomic purple,
That
all
would be
clear,
cool.
because they are kind of clear.
Well, I've seen tons of that in fan mods, or especially on the Joy-Cons, people using atomic purple.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's not the same.
no,
It's
whatever.
not the same.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I've also been playing Yoshi's Island on my Super Nintendo Classic Edition.
Oh, that's a good one.
I love that game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still my favorite 2D Mario game, which I know sounds crazy. And that's saying something because 3 I love to death, but there's something about Yoshi's Island.
I want to talk about the Super FX chip 2 that they use. So the Super FX chip is used for like Star Fox and like really graphically intensive games.
Yeah.
But they chose to use it for Yoshi's Island.
Yeah.
And they use it in such subtle ways.
Yeah,
So when
of
you
course.
boot up the game, you go into the first level, and right in the foreground there's a little 3D model of a butterfly
Yeah.
that's just flapping its wings.
Yeah.
And it's just those subtle hints of Super FX chip.
It wasn't just the 3D models. It's the fact that they use like the different levels. It was like the depth of field. That was a big piece to
Yes, that's-
Yoshi's Island and why they used a Super FX chip for that. It was so awesome how they were able to pull something like that off.
Yeah, and every boss fight, Kamek will come in and sprinkle Super FX chip on all the enemies, and they'll get big, they'll bounce.
Like it's most overt on those like falling doors that would come forward.
Those
Yeah.
are full 3D models, yeah, like 3 polygons, but still 3D models.
Yeah, it also allowed for them to, if I'm not mistaken, I was actually looking into this. It allowed for them to expand and adjust sprites in like a rotation way.
Well, no, that was the like, and if you look at Mario World, enemies would do that. Like when you killed like Roy, for
Oh,
instance,
you're right.
he would jump up, he'd swirl, and then he'd blow up in front of the screen. So that
You're right. That was a Super Nintendo thing, not just the Super FX
that
chip.
is mode 7.
Yeah, that's
so
it.
there's mode 7 and Super FX chip.
That's right.
I think they also use Super FX. You know the boss, the Raven boss battle from Yoshi's Island, when you're Super Mario Galaxy in it,
Yeah.
and you're running around. I think maybe that could use it.
For sure.
But yeah, it was used in such subtle ways, and I love that they didn't go crazy like Donkey Kong. And
Yeah.
I also like the sizes of the levels. They're so big and expansive.
It was the first kind of like half exploration style game that they had made. Right? It was kind of more of a collectathon in the sense where like you needed to get all the stars, all the flowers, the red coins.
Well, it's the archetype of like the modern Yoshi game,
Exactly.
which is a collectathon disguised as a platformer.
Yeah.
I have a feeling it was a response to Sonic the Hedgehog.
Really?
Yeah, because they got these big labyrinth levels like in Sonic.
Yeah.
The way you run in Yoshi, there's no run button. He picks up momentum, kind of like Sonic.
Yeah.
The ring system, instead of having rings, you have a count. Like you have 30 stars, and every time Mario's away, he like it counts down.
Oh, you mean when you get hit?
When you get hit.
Yeah. Okay. And then the little like shy guy, flying guys come and get him at 0.
So I don't know if well, I'm sure Nintendo was scared of Sonic in the marketing. But I think that was kind of a
Well, the
little
Super
response.
Nintendo age, like that was like Sonic was already on its way out.
No, that's when Sonic started coming
was
in.
huge.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
At
it
that
was
point in time?
16-bit era. They started Sonic with the Genesis or the Mega Drive or whatever you want to call it.
No,
that's-
they started with the Genesis and they ported it to the Mega Drive.
No, the Mega Drive is the Genesis. It's
Oh, okay.
the Master Drive was the
Master
original.
Drive. Yes.
Yeah.
You're right. You're
Yeah,
right.
so it was at the end of the day. I mean, yeah, Sonic was actually, honestly, the only really big threat mascot wise to Mario throughout Mario's lifetime. Like
I'm trying
who
to
else-
think of.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
trying to
Who
think of
else
some
was-
obscure one, but I can't.
No, it's
Crash Bandicoot.
kind of, but not
No.
really.
Tried. That's
for
the
sure.
closest thing I can think of like critter mascots that rose.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like there was that point in time where everybody had a critter game. Like there's your Bubsies and
Yeah.
your remember Gex.
Oh
Remember
God,
Gex?
Gex.
Gex was good.
I had fun with Gex on
Yeah.
the 64.
But Gex was, that was a 64, not. Well, I
But I'm
guess
just saying, like in the
era.
years that followed, there was all these critter mascots. But I would say, like first, even though Mario isn't really a critter, but there was Sonic.
Yeah.
And then like who really stands up next after that? I would say, like in terms of just sort of mainstream, widely known appeal, I would probably say Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah,
Offhand.
for sure.
it's the only other one that had some form of fame.
Yeah.
And with the release of the game, then also with 1, 2, and 3, they had a kart racing game. I mean,
Yeah.
it had its own success for sure. But again, nothing has touched Mario. But mind you, with the Super Nintendo Classic, I almost forgot about something that I've been playing: Final Fantasy 3/6.
You really hate
whatever.
your spare time, don't you?
I know. Hey, look, I haven't played that game since I was a teenager, so I needed to get back onto it. The fact that I have an official console now that has the official ROM on it, I had to.
Yeah.
So I'm only about maybe 4 hours, 5 hours into it, but like, my God, I forgot so many things about this game. Like even just how well they implemented the scenario system. So I know you guys probably haven't played it.
Yeah, not a long time.
Yeah, and I'm sure a few reviewers haven't played it as well. This is the only Final Fantasy game, in my knowledge, that has implemented what they call the scenario system. So you'll get your party, you'll have 4 people in it, maybe 5, whatever it is, and then something big happens in the story, and the people have to split up.
Mm-hmm.
And then it'll give you a choice whether or not you want to pick, scenario A, B, or C. You pick one, you play that side of the branching story, and once that's done, it brings you back to the selection screen. You choose B or C or whatever else.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
And
you set up
it's-
different teams for each one because there was like
Yeah.
40 different playable characters in that game or something.
There were, and the only time you
like that.
could really adjust your party was end game. Everything else was very linear in the story, so it'll already essentially pre-choose everybody for you, and then you're pretty much set to go.
Yeah.
But it's just how it kind of took like almost a novel-esque style storytelling style to it. Mm-hmm. Where you do have the branching paths, you do have multiple storylines happening at a time, and you can see how each one unfolds and how they play into the overall arcing story. It's amazing. That, and I mean, just some of the amazing character diversification that happens. Edgar with his machines, that's his big thing. He had the auto crossbow to begin, and he gets a bunch later on. Sabin, easily one of my favorite characters in any Final Fantasy, because it wasn't just that he was a fighter and he was strong and blah 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 and he could hit hard, but his major tech was the blitz system. And what that does is you're able to input like a Street Fighter-esque style fighting move in before you select blitz.
Ooh.
And then that will actually determine what blitz move you do.
Nice.
So you needed to like memorize the combos to get it done. Every aspect of this game was so well thought out. It's still why it's my favorite Final Fantasy of all time.
Do you think it's like a pre-evolution of Blitzball?
No. From Final Fantasy X, you mean?
Of course.
Yeah.
The best.
Waka waka.
The best Final Fantasy game.
Yeah.
My dad is an amorphous glob that's gonna eat everything. Did I mention that it's my dad?
I love Final Fantasy X.
Oh,
Did any?
Or about that sphere system that you would
Oh my god!
direct all
I
your characters?
destroyed that game. Yeah. Too complicated for me.
Yeah, it's
Did
all
you
good.
guys see the Xenoblade Direct?
No.
No, it didn't.
Oh well, Breath of the Wild got new content added. You could have one of their like the main outfit from Xenoblade 2.
Really?
Yeah,
In Breath of the Wild?
in Breath of the Wild. Yeah,
Weird.
free update.
That's cool.
Yeah, you get a little side quest, and you have to like there's red shooting stars that you got to go like hunt down.
Nice.
Yeah, It's kind of cool.
Cool.
It's funny because the costume looks like a costume from Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
So it's fun to see Link in a Kingdom Hearts outfit.
Nice.
Speaking of Kingdom Hearts, I think Square released a comment the other day saying that they're like trying really hard to get all their they're looking into their whole library. Every IP is on the line right now, and they're figuring out what they can and what they can't bring to the Switch.
Yep.
So I'm just hoping Kingdom Hearts is gonna get there soon.
Yeah, I really hope so. I think the system deserves another Kingdom Hearts, or Nintendo deserves another Kingdom Hearts.
Well, how many have they had that they had?
They've had Chain of Memories, the original on GBA.
Yeah.
They've had Dream Drop Distance. They've had all the other side ones. So 356 over 2,554 over 3.
Yeah, you know what? I don't think anyone deserves another Kingdom Hearts game. I wouldn't put that punishment on anyone.
No, Dream Drop Distance was good.
Yeah, no, I like all Kingdom Hearts games. But you know what? I think Kingdom Hearts should take a note from Odyssey.
Yeah.
So you know in Odyssey, when you go into the kingdoms, they're like part of the story. You're trying to find a cake. You're trying to find the soups for the wedding and stuff.
Yeah.
And I felt they kind of did that in Kingdom Hearts 1. But Kingdom Hearts 2, you're just going to the Lion King's world just to go.
Well, yeah, then by that point, it just became another Square game. It's like, oh, fuck, we have to do another Disney level. Okay, here you go. Get out. Okay, now back to the Heartless.
Yeah, exactly. So, like...
Tell me I'm wrong.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right.
That's my biggest problem with Kingdom Hearts right now. But Odyssey did it so well with visiting the different kingdoms and And speaking of which, when you get to the Moon Kingdom, it looks identical to Kingdom Hearts, Roxas and whoever else, Roxas's clone lives or is sleeping in a cave underground, but his counterpart is inside Sora.
Yeah, great games.
Great
story.
Easily one of the greatest stories of our generation. It surpasses video games.
There's like the Odyssey, and then like I don't know, James Joyce, and there's Kingdom Hearts. that's a literary history in a nutshell.
Oh God. Okay, so I think we're done for the first part. Cool story, bros.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Okay, and we'll see you soon.
See you guys.
And we're back.
Hey.
Hi.
So a week ago, we had Paris Games Week.
Yeah.
And we had some big game releases.
Huge game releases.
You know more about this than I do, so why don't you take over?
Okay. Well, so I want to hit some of the small stuff first. So, on Rush. Have you guys seen it, heard about
rally
it?
racing game, mixed cars, like rally cars and like dirt bikes and stuff.
I think the big piece to it is that it's going to be kind of Mario Kart-esque in the sense of like there's going to be items and fighting within. It's the first time we've seen this from Sony since Mod Nation Racers.
Oh, I remember that game. That's where you make your own tracks?
Yeah, you can make your own tracks, your own characters and stuff. It was actually a pretty cool game.
Was that made by Media Molecule?
That I can't remember, but I remember it was a bigger company that made it for sure.
Okay.
But it was a first-party developer for Sony, and either way, for Onrush, it's just a little aside. I'm excited.
Who's making?
I want to see. I don't remember off the top of my head right now, but I do know that I've already seen the gameplay footage of it. It does look really fun, really chaotic, really fast. And looks like it's not just going to be another racing game. It looks like it's going to be kind of Mario Kart-esque, and that makes me excited because I feel like that's a genre that really hasn't been touched in a long while outside of the Mario Kart series.
Okay.
So I want to see how well they're going to implement this into the modern day world. Something that's obviously a little more gritty, a little more mature.
Is it cartoon? So it's not cartoony?
Not really. I mean, it's not exactly realistic, but at the same time,
it's kind of like Sega arcade racing games.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it seems like, right?
Okay.
Like the SSX of like, Mario Kart, fighting fighting racers.
I love SSX.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So that's more where I'm coming from with this. I'm really excited for it. I mean, do you guys have any general opinions on it?
I mean, it looks interesting, but we'll have to see how it comes along.
Yeah. I'm more interested on who's making it.
Yeah.
I want to see who's behind it and
Well, if you guys want to fact check it in the meantime, I can go on to the next game.
Well, let's go on to the next game because there's far more interesting titles, I think, to be discussed.
I'll look it up.
100%. Second one I wanted to touch on was Guacamelee 2.
Yeah.
So, Metroidvania-esque style fighting platformer. I played the first one extensively, beat it twice.
Spelunky?
I loved it. No, Guacamelee.
Oh, I love that game.
Yeah. Guacamelee was amazing.
So good.
Yeah, so they are bringing back both playable characters. The first one, obviously, Guacamelee himself, and then the second one is the girl, I can't remember her name, from the DLC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, whatever. Either way, it's just, I'm very, very excited for this. This game has already proven itself in its own right. The fact that they're now finally releasing a sequel, I'm getting it day one. There's no question.
It's really fun. Do you think it's going to be a full price release? Because I thought the other one was just like a online only game. Like, was there a physical?
There was a physical, but I'm pretty sure it was like part of a package or whatever. It's going to be like a $30 release.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so nothing crazy for price, but at the end of the day, it's still an amazing game. It's like getting Shovel Knight in a sense. You know what I mean? Like, just a very, very well-made platformer from a first-party developer that is, being made for whatever console.
Yeah.
I cannot wait for this.
A fun little, maybe 15-hour romp.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's about it. Have you played the first one?
Yeah, I played the first one on PC.
Have you guys played Severed?
No,
It
but
was
I do
their,
want to try
their
it.
second game. So after Guacamelee, they made Severed. It's a touch-based game.
Yep.
Where you're like swiping and stuff. It's supposed to be really good. It's like a unique game. No one's ever made it.
Yeah, I was going to say there was one more on mobile that was kind of like that. It was from Epic, I believe, who made it.
The sword game?
Yeah.
Oh, that Infinity Blade.
That's it. Yeah, it was something like that. That game was fucking fantastic. I mean, it came out ages ago, but for what it did in the early era of mobile, that was fantastic.
It was like a punch-out game. You had to read the opponent's attacks and it was kind of like a puzzle fighting game.
Exactly.
In the sense of punch-out,
Yeah, so you needed to read your enemy's moves. Anyways, totally getting off topic here. Guacamelee, there's one thing I've heard, although it was either exclusive or first party or whatever it was before, there's actually a solid chance that we might see it on other consoles. They've said, it's going to be exclusive on Sony for now.
Oh, of course.
I'm sure it'll come out on PC at the very, very least.
Yeah, I can see that.
And Switch. Like the first one was on the Wii U.
Yeah, I got you. I always thought it was a first party title, but I guess not. Now that I read that, I mean...
And we got Severed on Switch, so Guacamelee 2 will be on Switch. You heard it here first.
But these guys have been making Sony games exclusively. Before they made Guacamelee, I believe they were making the Attack of the Blob games or whatever. You know which ones I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's like you're playing a little green blob.
Yeah. So they made those games as well. Everything they've touched up until Guacamelee was exclusively for Sony consoles. So now that they're potentially branching out, this is...
No, they have. They're not potentially. They are.
Yeah, this is a franchise that's already been proven on the other platforms. I just don't... how often does it happen that you would go back on multi-platform? If anything, it just gets, more platforms come out.
Well, when did Guacamelee come out on any other consoles? Because as far as I knew, it was only on PS3 and Vita.
No, I just told you. It was on,
as well.
It was on Wii U. That's how I played it.
Oh, fair enough. Okay, so it is... I guess it is coming.
It's on Wii U. Severed's on Switch. Their next game will be...
So it's going to be a timed exclusive then, much like Guacamelee.
Oh,
it would have to be.
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of wish that game, they spruced it up a bit. I feel like it's just just an expansion on the first one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, they haven't showed off much. It was like a 2-minute trailer, so I'm going to leave my full expectations at the door. Yeah. You know what I mean?
If it's exactly like the first one with new story and new levels, I might pass. But if there's a new hook or a new gimmick, something to something new, you know what I mean?
I'm sure there will be. This is a developer that is not only has proven themselves, but I have a little more faith in because, and mind you, it's stupid, but they're Canadian and also from Toronto.
Who makes it? Capybara?
No, I can't remember the name of the company now, but they are from Toronto. In Attack of the Blobs or whatever that game was called, the CN Tower's in the background.
Oh, nice.
One of the levels, in one of the games. So they are Canadian based and they've been making great games. So I have a little more. Not necessarily faith, but I'm a little more invested in the title just because of that.
Yeah. No, I loved Guacamelee.
Yeah.
But yeah.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
On top of that, Spelunky 2, I don't want to touch on that for too long. I mean, that kind of looks like a lot of the same. Just, platformer, I think maybe procedurally generated. Essentially, you're running around grabbing valuable items, making it to the end, not getting killed.
I heard great things from the first one. People love that game.
Yeah.
It's very addictive in how simple it is. And that's, I think, one of its strong suits. But that's also why I think there's not going to be a lot added to the second one. It's probably just going to be more of an expansion, like you were saying with Guacamelee 2.
Well, this is because it's an indie dev, no?
It is.
So it's an indie dev now that's flush with cash after the success of the first one. I'm sure we'll see some improvements over the other.
Oh, for sure. There's going to be more polish, I think. I think the gameplay is going to be a little more thought out, a little more fleshed out. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's going to be too different from the first one. Right? At the end of the day, why fix what isn't broken?
Yeah.
Right?
And that's not an exclusive as well.
That I don't know, but it's going to be probably on PC first and then go on PS4 and blah, 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 whatever it is. But yeah, so one I really did want to touch on was The Gardens Between, I believe it's called.
Okay.
So puzzle game, much like, I can't remember what it's called now, but it was a mobile. No, there's that, but there's another one. I can't remember what it's called now, but it's a mobile platformer where you have to kind of like flip the world.
Like Captain Toad Treasure Tracker.
In a sense, yeah. So it's very much along that line, but it is like, no, not like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll remember the name at some point. But either way, it does kind of remind me of Braid in a sense because the main mechanic behind it is time-based. You can forward or reverse time and use that to your advantage to solve certain puzzles, do certain things within the level to get whatever you have in your little lantern to the top of the mountain to complete the level. Seems simple, but also potentially very well thought out, especially now that Sony's putting a lot of stock into the title by showing it at Paris Games Week. So I think this could be a title to look out for. If you're into puzzle games, definitely keep tabs on it.
And it looks beautiful.
Yeah. Gorgeous. Cel-shaded, really well done, stylized perfectly in my eyes.
Now, is that game 4K and 60 frames per second?
Yeah, that's all I care about.
You know, super cute little cute dioramas, and they're jumping on little like terracotta pots.
Yeah,
super.
Exactly.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
I love cute things.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we know. For our listeners, Robbie's dancing around with a Snorlax Ditto doll.
More convulsing.
Yeah, well, you know, it's a type of dance. It's a type of dance. The last one and the biggest one by far, Sucker Punch is back. And they're back with something that
with a pre-rendered trailer.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's the premise behind the game. So it's called the
Educate Us.
Yeah. So the Ghosts of Tsushima. Tsushima is an island off the coast of Japan, part of Japan, of course, but an island off the coast of Japan, and it is the setting for a real life battle or two real life battles that happened between the Japanese and the Mongols. The Mongols, while they were taking over a bunch of Asia, came over, Mongolians, whatever.
Mongolians. Sorry.
I was wondering why you were looking at me like that.
Goddamn Mongolians. Great South Park episode.
Fantastic.
Sorry.
Anyways, in their efforts to essentially unify and take over all of Asia and probably the world afterwards, they went to Japan. And they attacked on the front of Tsushima Island. And they were stopped twice by the samurai. Once it was just a bad loss on their part. The second was the foresight of the samurai who decided to build it was a wall of sorts, and it kept the Mongols out of that area and held them back. On top of that, they had a little bit of weather on their side, which ended up helping them in the battles. But this game is going to retell one of these two battles. I can only assume the second one.
Yeah, because the way the trailer says that they'd already been there previously.
Exactly. So you can only assume that now it's being placed. The protagonist is a samurai in this world. He has suffered a huge loss in one of these battles, is there in a town that essentially is burning down according to what the trailer showed. And as everything burns behind him, you kind of see his samurai uniform kind of burn away as well. And a puff of smoke goes by, and all of a sudden he's there with a mask on, wearing all black with a shorter katana. I can't remember what they're called, but a shorter katana. And it's making me think that he is going to be a ninja more than anything else in this game. They say it's going to be an open world game, so a lot of people are expecting the whole Tsushima Island to be the playground for this. And on top of that, they're also pushing the fact of no waypoints, which I think is a huge deal.
What do you mean?
It means that Zelda Breath of the Wild is finally showed people that you don't need to make open world games like the Far Cry's, like the Horizon Zero Dawns of the world. Just get in the world, explore, do what you have to do. There's obviously main story missions, but when you find them, you find them. When you don't, go do whatever else you have to do.
I think Zelda's too new of a game for people to copy yet. Because these games take years to make, especially a game which is graphically as intensive as Ghost.
Of course, but we don't know when it's coming out, though. We don't have a release date, so it could be even 2019 when this game comes out.
And in fairness, we don't know a lot about the gameplay. Like if you're saying it's a ninja game, I'm envisioning something similar to like an Assassin's Creed, perhaps with less of a collectathon and a little bit more story driven. But we really don't know much about this game other than the sort of the core concept and storyline.
It's true, but you also have to look at their past releases. Sucker Punch is no stranger to open worlds with Infamous 1 and 2. And, of course, First Son, the one that came out on PS4.
Yep.
Those worlds were gigantic. I mean, the last one was pretty much the whole city of Seattle.
Mm-hmm. Right?
Size
isn't everything.
It isn't, but what I'm saying is that they know how to do this well. I've played all 3 of the Infamous titles, as well as the DLC title for First Son.
Yeah.
Everything they've touched has been amazing in my eyes. So they already know what they're doing in that front. Now, if they're going to be taking away the waypoints, I think it is something that's more geared towards kind of the Breath of the Wild more than anything else. And I think it's a very good choice on their end.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, I guess for me, the waypoints are, okay, they're either there or they're not. It's like, what is the core game mechanic? Are you scaling buildings and dropping down on people with your sword? Are you doing little missions all over the place? Like,
that's the one thing we don't truly know right now.
And that's what I'm saying. It just sounds like it will be very similar to Assassin's Creed in that vein.
Yeah, from what you described, you just made like you described like a really good movie trailer. Like this is a video game. Like, what's the hook?
Well, again, it's a stealth-oriented open-world game. That's all we really know from the gameplay side of things. But again, knowing the developer very well and having played almost every single one of their games, including the Sly Cooper games, they know what they're doing.
There's no doubt that they're good developers, but it's just like as a game developer, like you instead of like showing graphics and story, like it should be the opposite. You should be like be selling your gameplay, your hook, like for Odyssey. It's like,
what's
you
this
have
game,
a capture ability.
What's this game going to do that's different than like what I'm asking is, what is this game doing different from Assassin's Creed? So far, all we talked about is the story. So Assassin's Creed hasn't done something set in Japan yet, and that there wouldn't be waypoints, which Assassin's Creed is notorious for, or at least in terms of like all the stuff crammed onto a mini map. But we don't even know whether or not they're going to be doing that definitively. Yeah. So that's what I'm waiting to see is like what is this game that's bringing that's new to the table?
Because we don't know completely. What do you guys think it's going to be? Right? I mean, I'm sure we all have our own opinions on what it can be. Why not hit a prediction at this point, right?
Well, I haven't really played any of the Sucker Punch games, so all I can say is it's probably going to play like Infamous. So expect that.
Not a bad thing. It means there's probably going to be some form of platforming involved, some form of scaling buildings, much like I guess Assassin's Creed. But I mean, they've done that before Assassin's Creed was even a thing.
Yeah. It just brings me back to like the Last of Us.
Did it actually, even the first one?
Yeah, as far as I know.
We're going to have to fact check that.
Okay, fair enough. As far as I know, Infamous was before Assassin's Creed.
Just kills me with Sony. Like I brought it up last time with The Last of Us and how they showed a beautiful trailer and they got the voice actors to come out and talk about like their character development and stuff. And it's the same thing with this. I'm sure the game is going to be great. It's just the way you pitch it. Yeah. It's like your initial pitch to everybody is graphics and story, where I just think it's unethical for video game developers to do that. And I think it's a big problem.
You're absolutely right on that. I mean, we've seen terrible examples of that with like Watch Dogs, let's say.
Yeah.
Where it didn't necessarily do what they wanted it to do. And even funny as it is, that game did show gameplay first before they showed a cinematic trailer. They showed it at E3 and played it live on stage, and it did not look the same. So you never really know what you're getting. But again, knowing the developers specifically, I have high hopes for this. I think it's going to be a little bit more along the lines of, again, I'm going to say kind of Breath of the Wild in the sense, maybe not as barren, if you know what I mean. Not to say that that was a bad thing, but the open world was just kind of an open world. I think this is going to be a little more populated with people, cities, villages. There's going to be a lot of side quests to do, but it is going to be, in a sense, combat-oriented, exploration-oriented, stealth-oriented, and that's everything that Infamous was to begin with. So I think they're taking that model and moving it towards feudal Japan.
Well, let's hope they evolve that model and make something new and fresh and good instead of retreading old ground.
For sure.
Assassin's Creed Japan, coming to you from Sucker Punch.
Apparently, the new Assassin's Creed's really good.
Yes, I've heard great things about it.
They took a few years off Ubisoft, and I think they made something good. I don't know, but...
You know what? If I ever get a chance, I've never been a fan of the series. I mean, I've never played anything from them.
I played the first one, and it is horrible.
Well, how recently did you play it?
I played it like around the time it came out, like after 2, because 2 they improved everything and it became a good game.
Yes,
but apparently the first one.
Yeah, the first one definitely could use some polish. Like see, that's the thing is when I'm saying it's an Assassin's Creed game, I'm not using that necessarily as a pejorative. Like the last few prior to Origins were kind of lackluster, but when you think of something like Black Flag or Assassin's Creed 2, like these are solid games.
Yeah, absolutely.
I haven't had a chance to try Origins yet, but I hear that like the new RPG elements are actually very interesting. From what I also hear, the biggest downside is the microtransactions, but that just seems to be the way of the world with the major multi-plat developers.
That is what it is. At the end of the day, if
it's
that
not going
pisses
away.
you off, exactly. If that pisses you off, just don't buy anything microtransaction oriented. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, I think you can't avoid microtransactions, just how the developer utilizes them, and if it's a pay to win or a pay to speed up. I think those two, they're very two different things.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's two different examples. Now, we're expecting pay to win to happen with Battlefront 2. We've already seen pay to speed up in Shadow of War, the new Lord of the Rings game.
Yeah, and Animal Crossing Pocket Camp.
Or most mobile games.
We're talking a game that you've paid essentially full price for.
Yeah.
So with something like that, a lot of people were pissed off with Shadow of War. I've heard specifically that it doesn't deter from the game. You don't need to buy anything. If you want to speed yourself up, that's your own prerogative. But you don't need it to beat the game. You don't need it to have fun with the game. You don't need it to do anything, really.
And that's good.
Yeah.
Big plus.
Yeah, that's okay. But Battlefront 2 is going to be the Battlefront of, like how much major developers can get away with in terms of microtransactions.
Yeah, and EA is going to be the worst company in America again, so you guys have fun with that.
Where do loot crates or loot boxes fall into this? Is that paid to...
Yeah, it's essentially pay to win. What you're doing is you're paying for a loot box of stuff that could potentially be items that will get you farther in the game compared to what you can find in that area of the game that you're in.
Oh, what a way to take advantage of people.
Yeah, so it's pay to win and then adding that extra like gambler
addiction
to it.
Some people poor people, some people just can't handle that stuff and they don't know a stop button and I hate it.
It's an addiction. It's terrible. Yeah. You're right.
You will never get me, but I just feel bad for other weak people.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes. I mean, maybe
how much did you spend on Pokemon Go again?
Hold on. I don't mind paying. I don't mind using transactions when a game. I think like a game like Animal Crossing, it's free. I'm really enjoying it. I would pay like $30 to buy that game.
Yeah, but
do you know
how much
what I mean?
have you spent on it?
On Animal Crossing?
No, on Pokemon Go.
Well, Pokemon Go, I think like $30 of microtransactions.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I bought the Poke Tracker, which was $40. But
yeah.
That was a physical item. Like I have no regrets. I enjoyed my time with Pokemon Go. I gave it the Game of Year award last year.
Yeah.
I think it's a cool game. And I think some games deserve money when they're free.
Now, last thing that I think we wanted to touch on for the Paris Games Week. I know you had some thoughts on it.
Shadow Colossus?
Beyond Human. Detroit Beyond Human.
Oh, yeah. Woof.
Yeah. No, I disagree. But okay,
it's really interesting.
Why do you say woof?
They killed a child in the trailer.
So?
That's a lot. Like that's tacky. It's too much.
It showed the consequence of one of the scenarios that you were put in this game. I'm sorry, but that is something that, although is terrible and tragic, it's something that you are trying to avoid while playing this game. It's
I know, but I don't know. I think it's the shock value that they did. I don't know. I feel like it just could have been done in a cleaner presentation, and just like a good director will find, like, instead of showing directly killing a child, they'll do it in a way where it's like you could use your imagination, or they'll do it behind a door, or you could see.
Well, they did it off screen. It was just there was like they went upstairs and there was a dead kid. It's not like you actually saw the beating or strangling or whatever.
I think my biggest problem was just I felt it was.
I think you needed a trigger warning for you. I think that's what your problem is.
No, I think it was just distasteful. That's just my opinion. I'm sure the games, like like the game does look good.
I don't think it was really distasteful. It shows a potentially real situation that could happen in this world, and then gives you reason to try to avoid that.
Distasteful.
I don't know.
I think it's just it's showcasing like the morally gray situations they're going to be stuck in, because guaranteed, you know, like what I'm guessing is because there's the overall theme of like the androids and perhaps having some kind of revolution.
Of course,
like so. Let's say you're the android in this situation. You could save this little girl and kill this guy, but then is this going to help the revolution, or is it going to make the government crack down that much more on androids?
Yeah.
And I have a feeling that even though there's going to be sort of like micro situations, like you want to save this child's life, and the macro situation, how does this play into the revolution? It seems to be like a really interesting concept. At least I find a little bit more than Heavy Rain, which is its nearest comparison. Which was also a bunch of intertwining stories, but all together coming into one mystery.
Yeah, Quantic Dream they're notorious for that style of game, but I'm okay with it. I mean, at the end of the day, all they're really doing is creating a modern point-and-click adventure. And something that's, in my opinion, way better than most of what we're seeing in that genre, especially from, like, let's say, Telltale.
Oh, we should talk about that.
Telltale?
Yeah.
Sure. What do you want to talk about?
Well, after they downsized and fired half them.
Yes, absolutely. Anyways, getting back to my point with this is a point and click adventure, right? Yeah. It's done almost in the sense of what Telltale has done in the past with the Sam & Max series, Back to the Future, anything else they've really touched, it really doesn't matter. They're all that you play this one character, you can move them around, explore different areas, try to find different things that will help you progress in the story, but they've done it in a choose your own story kind of way, which I do like a lot better than, you know, the kind of linear, okay, I need to find this item, now I got the key, now I can get out of this room type situation, right? And that's why I'm actually really excited for this game, because not only does it do that, but now it has the branching stories, different playable characters, a lot of main characters in general, how they're all going to intertwine, interact with each other to make a fully true, fleshed out big experience.
Well, potentially, we'll see if it actually.
You're right. We don't know until the game comes out.
Well, how was Heavy Rain? Was that have like a you know, Telltale, when you play a game like that, they kind of like bottleneck you down.
Yeah.
So your decisions really don't make a difference. But have you played Heavy Rain?
I haven't, but I've heard a lot about Heavy Rain. I heard it was good. It didn't quite hit what a lot of people were expecting from it.
Okay.
But I think Quantic Dream is using that to their advantage, so that they now have the necessary tools that they need to say, okay, you know what, this is what people were pissed off with before. This is what we need to try to avoid. I think this is going to be the next evolution of this type of game.
But they're not like Sucker Punch, where they have that great pedigree behind them.
They do, but they don't. Their first game, which I can't remember the name of it for the life of me, was that game. That's what set the bar. So they've been known to be very, very good. It's just an issue of getting themselves back to that area, and I think they can do it again.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, Telltale. So do you want to tackle this one?
Well, I don't know much, but I heard they downsized half of their team.
Yep.
And they're going to start making bigger experiences or better quality experiences.
Yeah, and that really starts with just making a new engine for your games, because Jesus Christ, like, they've been using the same engine since they started this company.
I don't know. I saw
Tales of Monkey Island.
I saw the Guardians of the Galaxy game, and that game looks a lot better than the last game I played from them was The Walking Dead Season 2. Yeah. And the Batmans and the Guardians of the Galaxies, it looks like a new engine.
It's on new engine.
No,
it's reskinned. So they are made to be higher res because they now have the next generation and PC and whatever.
I see.
But at its bones, at its core, it's the same engine.
Yeah.
Well, this is something they really need to
I think the message, what they're saying, whether it's like to have bigger experiences or smaller experiences, that message is inevitably bullshit. It's a company is not no company downsizes because they're doing well.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah,
it's very likely that they're probably seeing a dip in sales. Like I haven't played a Telltale game since Walking Dead 2, and perhaps the ones coming subsequent to that have not been terribly successful in comparison. The point and click genre, maybe especially the Telltale formula, which has been very much the same in a lot of their games. Perhaps is getting a little bit played out at this point, and now they have to sort of downsize.
I'm curious to see what they will do from this.
Yeah.
Because they said they want a kind of a smaller team, a tighter team. So maybe they just put some marketing bullshit spin on it. But
Double Fine said the same thing.
Yeah.
What's Double Fine making?
Right now, Psychonauts 2.
Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah,
but it's like Kickstarter. It was
their last couple games have been Kickstarted. Like what you call it? What was their what was their point and click called?
What was it called? I know exactly what game you're talking about. I can't remember the name of it for the life of me.
Yeah, me neither. But that was kickstarted.
Yeah. And I played part 1, and part 1 was awesome. And I
game is
never
it?
played part 2. It was the point and click adventure, them getting back to like their point and click adventure roots.
Oh yeah, the one with the skeleton.
No, that's Grim Fandango. No. This is the one with the boy who lives in space and the girl who lives on some
fantasy?
planets.
Yeah.
Okay.
And how they kind of interact with each other. It was a very, very good game for 1.
Yeah.
2, I heard they kind of shat the bed on.
Yeah, 2 is not so great.
No?
2 felt kind of stapled on.
Fair enough.
Why can't I remember the name of this? It's gonna
It's a brain fart. Trust me, I know where you're coming from.
Now there's one game from Paris Game Week that we forgot to mention.
Sure.
Shadow of Colossus.
Oh, that's right. They showed off a trailer for it.
Yeah, and they got a release date.
Yeah.
Which is I think December, or I think it's coming out this year.
Should be coming soon, and I am so excited. It's funny. I was actually talking with Andy about that. And we were just talking about Shadow of the Colossus in general, and he was convinced that this game was going to be just a remaster. I'm like, no. I'm like, watch the trailers. This game, although at its core might be the same game, I'm like, this is newly created. All the assets are new. It's all next gen. These aren't up-res textures. This has been like, they took the skeletal frame and put a new skin on it. This is a full
We had this
potential
conversation
remake.
before. We were wondering if they just built upon the existing game or they built it from scratch. We kind of don't know.
I
But if
don't
you-
think they built it from scratch. I think a lot of Team Ico was working on The Last Guardian for this to come out so soon after. I think it is the same skeleton.
Because Bluepoint also did the remastered version for PS3 and
Yes.
the last Shadow Colossus game that came out with Ico.
Cool.
Yeah. I want to play it. Can I borrow your PS4?
No.
Yeah, I was gonna say, of all the games that we've discussed so far, that's the only one that really truly interests me and makes me wonder whether or not I should be getting a PlayStation.
Have you played it?
No, I never played Shadow of the Colossus. I've
it's
never
on-
owned a Sony system.
It's in my top 5.
Yeah.
I love that game.
You should, if you get a chance, jump on just the standard PlayStation 4, get the mini. It's like, what, $299 now?
Paulie, RC just got a 4K television.
So
you're
you
getting the
want to
Pro,
get the
yeah.
Pro? If you want to, by all means.
yeah,
I'm just saying it's
Well, I'm not
a
going to get a
necessity.
Pro. I obviously have to get the system that is made for 4K at
60 frames per second.
If you buy a Microsoft system, I'm disowning you.
I already have
Hey,
a
no,
Microsoft
Microsoft-
system.
Kidding, it was a joke.
I like Microsoft.
They've just been kind of lately.
Yeah, their exclusives have not been the best. But
Oh,
anyways, beyond the
Cuphead.
point.
They just got Cuphead.
Yeah, okay, fine. So one indie platforming game.
You can play Rocket League with them. Oh, Rocket League's coming out soon. You guys gonna
I
get
think it's
it?
out already.
No, November 14th.
Oh, okay.
Have you guys played it?
No.
I'm gonna play it.
I had the pre-order, and then I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna be very shitty compared to like the player base at large, and then I just kind of backed out of the pre-order.
but we could start new now.
I don't know. I kind of want to get Skyrim next week. I haven't played Skyrim since vanilla. I'm very much looking forward to giving that a
But
whirl.
you just got Doom.
Yeah.
I'll probably beat it by next weekend.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I can see that.
How about, LA
Shooters are normally pretty short.
Yeah, LA Noire. You guys gonna pick that one up?
No, I played it on PC.
Did you like it? Because I really liked it.
It's all right, but it is definitely like, I will play this game once. Like there is little to no replayability.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because once you've solved the mysteries, you know the answer. It's kind of like you already know the recipe for winning.
Yeah.
I got you. That makes sense.
It's like the full cast of Mad Men on that show.
Yeah.
I love Mad Men, and when that game came out while I was watching it,
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, I know all these people.
Yeah, but expect a very long patch when you put that game in.
oh, remember the Doom patch?
Yeah, so that's one thing we neglected to mention in our sort of Doom mini review.
Oh,
is
yeah.
Yeah, let's close out with this.
We both popped in we both bought the cartridge version.
Yep.
Like bought that in retail, and when you put in the cartridge, there is a mandatory update.
okay.
For Rusty, it downloaded in about 45 minutes. For me, I don't know how long, but when I put it in, it said 3.5 hours remaining.
Even at the low end, I feel like that's unacceptable.
And I only had like 45 minutes to play a game, and I'm just like, all right, I'm just gonna leave this and I'm gonna do something else.
Yeah, exactly. That's my whole point. It's like, it's just to have an update take that long, that is unacceptable.
I think it was like 7 gigabytes worth of stuff to be
Yeah.
put on.
Yeah, but that was probably the multiplayer then. Why are they forcing people to download that as a mandatory patch? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, which is odd because I read from all the press releases that it was you have the full game on the cart, and
Yep.
then if you want, you can download the multiplayer on the side. But I guess they decided to do it
Yeah,
all
no,
at once.
I couldn't get through the open menu screen without downloading it. Like there was no way around it.
Maybe they didn't want to release it as DLC. because it could have been something with Nintendo in general, and then they realized it was either they did that or they had a mandatory update instead. So who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the difficulty is it could be like an issue just like Nintendo. You can't have sort of two different updates. Like, let's say they wanted to have a day one patch that was mandatory, but then there's also this optional download. By having that day one patch, you just kind of had to make them both linked together. Or it could just be like, I know I've heard these rumors circling around quite often, is sort of chinsing out on the memory cards that because they can't fit everything on there, they'll just make part of it a download.
Yeah.
Well, NBA 2K is infamous for that.
And LA Noire will be as well.
Yeah. It's going to be everything coming from third parties.
Yeah.
Now that this has become a standard, it's going to be something that's implemented by everybody.
Yeah. I have a feeling LA Noire is not going to be a good port.
I don't know. I mean, the system's powerful enough. It was a PS3 game. So.
Yeah.
I know. I don't know. I have a feeling.
Yeah.
It's not like there's not like there's terribly big environments. Like it's all, everything's all very like nested closely together. I guess the thing that'll be the most challenging is probably the driving, because that's when it's
chugging. It's like a full LA city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on that note, we're done. You can find us here on YouTube.
Of course.
You can also listen to us at
SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, and Podbay.
What else?
We're on Instagram, of course.
Of course we are.
If you guys want to see us in the everyday life of Game and Watch It, then you can check us out there. We have a Facebook page if you guys ever want to reach out to us, ask us any questions, do anything of the sort. Hit us up on there.
Yeah, also leave questions down below because we like comments on YouTube as well.
Yeah, smash that like button.
And I guess please subscribe. Obligatory.
Yeah.
Obligatory?
Oblig.
Scene.